What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a small mod to my Tacoma TRD off-road. I'm going to be switching the grill. I actually had this grill already installed on the truck, but I recently had to put the factory back on because I had to do some repairs in it, some recalls and whatnot, and they didn't want to touch it with my aftermarket Pro grill. So I switched it back, and I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to just show you how to switch it and put the TRD Pro grill on there. The one I bought is just a grill from eBay. It's pretty simple, pretty nice. It's all plastic, fits pretty much like it would factory. And if you do have a 2018 and up, you do have the sensors for the front collision sensor. I did buy the OEM Bezel for that. So I'll link you guys to those things if you guys want to find it and do it yourself. But if you have a 16 or a 17, I don't think they came with the sensors on the front, so you don't have to worry about that. But something to keep in mind. A lot of times you do have to put the Toyota part in there for the front, so that might come separate and you have to attach it in there. It's pretty easy to do on. So we're not going to get too much into the grill itself. It's pretty self-explanatory. So instead we're just going to move on to the truck, take the old one off, put this one in there, and then put it all back together. Should be pretty simple. So let's do it. Alright guys, so first things first, we're going to open our hood so we have access to the back of the grill. And here we have the factory grill that we're going to be replacing today. It's not a bad looking grill. I mean, it looks pretty nice. It has some chrome and everything in there. But in my opinion, with the TRD off-road, with the black accents and everything on the side, I already switched all my emblems to black. I think the TRD Pro grill just looks a little bit better and then gets rid of some of this chrome that I'm not a super huge fan on, at least on this truck. So it's going to be real easy. We're going to be using very simple tools. All we need is a 10mm socket. We're going to need a flathead screwdriver and a Phillips screwdriver. I don't have this one in here. I'll pick it up here in a second. But to remove the grill, it's going to be super simple. We have a 10mm bolt here and another 10mm bolt here. And then you're going to use your flathead screwdriver to take this. This just pops up, and then we have another one on this side. Once we pop both of those out, we take the bolts out. This is going to come loose, and then we're going to push it off. It's kind of clipped in here on this side and on this side. So we're going to pull them out and then take that whole bezel out. So let's do that first, and then I'll show you guys how to remove this. Alright guys, so I took the two bolts on the top, and then we took the side little clips here, like I said, and then this is, you can see here, it's able to move. But real quick too, before I forget, there is a sensor that is plugged in here. This is going to be for your collision sensor in the front. We do need to unplug that first because you can't pull it out with that plugged in. So make that out. There's going to be a little clip here. This is what I use my flathead. Push it in, take it out. We're going to unclip this, and then we're going to move on and take the whole thing out. So let's do it. Alright guys, so here you have it. The whole grill is completely off. Everything just pops out of place after you remove the two bolts and the two little clips on the top. We did remove our sensor here. So hopefully you saw in the video, it might have looked a little abrupt when I pulled it out. You do have to put a little bit of force into it, but I promise you it's okay. There's nothing that's going to be affecting it. So let's move on to the bench so we can swap out the grills. Alright guys, so here we have the back of the Bezel, and we're going to remove a couple screws out of here. Also, I want to point out that if you have not had your recall done on the front sensor for the 2018s and up, this piece is not on there initially. When you first get your truck, it doesn't have this. So if you go and get the recall done, they went and put this piece here, this like protective kind of foam feeling like stuff. So you're gonna have to probably move that over to the other side if you want to. If not, that's up to you. But to remove this part, there's a bunch of Phillips screws right around along the bezel. There's another one there, and it goes all along the bezel that we need to remove all of those. So there's some couple of ones that are a little bit higher up here, if I can focus. Do not remove those top ones. Do not remove this ones. We need to remove this ones over here. So let's go ahead and remove that, and then I'll show you guys what we need to remove here and swap over to the new bezel, to the new grill. Alright guys, so once we remove all the screwdrivers along the edge, you remember just the first edge. You're gonna see some other ones on the outside of it. Do not remove those. Just the ones along the edge. Once we take those out, now we need to start popping these little clips. Push them in a little bit so we can pull them out of the other side. And then that has to be done all around it. It's a little bit tedious, but once you start popping those out, you should be able to start removing this from the major assembly. So let's do that. Alright guys, so before I continue on, I just wanted to show you real quick that the factory grill kind of comes in two pieces. You have the chrome kind of outer bezel that you're going to remove. Be careful not to break any tabs in it. And then once you remove that one, now you can remove the center part as well. So I'm going to move on and start taking this one off, and then we'll move on to the sensor part. Let's do it. So now, as you can see, we have the center piece off of the main bezel. So now we're gonna basically work on the back of this to remove the sensor, and then start prepping our new grill that is gonna go right into this white bezel part. The chrome piece and this piece are not gonna be used anymore. So we basically just put those to the side or pack them up or whatever you want to do with them. But let me flip this one over, and then we'll start working on removing the sensor out of here so we can put it into the new grill. Let's do it. Alright guys, so here we have our sensor completely off, and let me show you what's going on. So this is going to be your sensor. Again, you might have this if you already done the recall. If you have not done the recall, you probably won't have to mess with any of this because it won't be on your truck. But to get it off, you're going to have to remove the two clips that are here. It's going to be holding your wiring loom in there. The quickest way to remove those is basically to come at it from the side, kind of push it in, and then try to lift it up. They're sometimes really in there. Try not to break anything, just for in case you need to use it later on. And then after you remove the two, one on top, one on the bottom, then we're going to move on to the actual sensor. And then you're going to have 3 Phillips screws that are going to be one on each side, and then a little one right on the top. There's going to be this 2 from the top, from the sides, I'm sorry, and then it's going to be a little one on the top. Once you take all those 3 of them, the sensor should just completely come off. From here, these 2 little things, they kind of are held in there. Basically, we're going to push them out. And then let me get the other side real quick. These 2, we are going to use those in the new grill. So put them to the side because we're going to use that. Once you have all of this removed, basically this is good to go. We can put it to the side and save it, store it, whatever you want to do, next to our chrome bezel. And now we're ready to bring in our new grill, start prepping that one in there, and put our sensor in. So let's bring in the new one. Alright guys, so here we have our new grill face down. This is where the new sensor is going to go. I have already attached the new bezel in there. But the grill, when you first buy it, is not going to come that way. It's going to have another different kind of bezel in there. Let me grab it here real quick. The grill is going to come with this piece. As you can see, it's you can see through it and everything. This piece is kind of pushed in here with clips. As you can see here, I kind of broke mine a little bit. So this piece, you don't need it if you are putting a sensor, because you're going to have to replace it with this bezel. Basically, it blocks any air and water and stuff from coming in there, and you want to have that because otherwise it's going to mess your sensor up. So once you have that in place, now to put the sensor in there, the 2 things we'll remove from the old one, we're basically going to slide them in here as well, kind of how they was on the other one. And then we got our other one. I'm going to put it on this side, and then now basically the sensor is ready to go in there exactly how it was on your original grill. So make sure you have the little tap for the top here, and then we put the other 2. I'm trying to do this with one hand while recording, might be a little bit difficult here basically, but more or less that's how it's gonna go. So let me get that in place, and then I'll show you guys the next step. Alright guys, as you can see, the sensor is all installed now. It goes in there pretty much like it does in the factory one. You put your 2 bolts here. I put my one on the top, and then I decided to put and cover it with the recall foam that they did on it, just so it keeps it the way it was supposed to be. So now you do have some spots in here that I guess this could go into. Now on mine, I feel like it stretches out the cable too much trying to fit it with the factory location in there. So if you have some new ones to put in there, that'd probably be great. For now, we're gonna leave it like that until we put it on the truck, and then once it's on the truck, I'm gonna see if I can zip tie it or just put it out of the way. But for now, we're gonna leave it like that. We are basically now ready to put the white bezel into it. So let's bring that one in there, and then let's put this into it. Let's do it. Alright guys, so as you can see, the grill is basically on the white bezel. It just pops right into place. You should be able to just push it in there, get all the clips to pop and lock into place, and it looks pretty good. I mean, you cannot beat it for how cheap it is, especially compared to the factory one. The factory one, I think it's somewhere around $300 to $400 for just this plastic piece. This one coming in around $75, $80. It's not bad. But I do want to show you the one bad thing about it is you do get this kind of gaps in here, and it's just kind of looks like the grill might have just been molded slightly smaller than it should be, and then so you do get those gaps there on the side a little bit. You see this gap over here too, and I quite honestly, you cannot tell once it's on the truck. It's just one of those nitpicky things that you know it's there. It's not going to be all the way to the edge like it should be. So keep that in mind if you're doing a eBay bezel like this. I honestly have not seen a TRD Pro up close. So who knows? Maybe the TRD Pro has the same kind of gaps in there. I honestly have not compared it. But for right now, that's my only negative with it. Outside of that, it pops right into place and it's starting to look pretty good. So now we are ready to take this to the truck and put it right back into place and route the cable. So let's do that. Alright guys, so here's how it looks finally with the TRD Pro style grill on there. I did add some white letter stickers to the grill, so keep that in mind. It's not gonna come white like that. You're gonna have to get that separately, but that looks 10 times better in my opinion, especially with all the black trim and black emblems that I swapped out as well on the truck. This ties it in a lot better than the chrome and the factory one I had. So that's all I have for you guys today. Hopefully this helps you out if you're thinking about switching your grill. And if you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing to our channel. We have more content coming up on our Toyota Tacoma as well as our mini trucks. We have some great videos coming out soon on the Nissan Hardbody as well, so stay tuned for that. And that's all I have for you guys. Hopefully you enjoy this, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.